Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday. Oh my goodness. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Happy holidays. And I am ready to get back into the swing of things, back into card making. So, I also, while I was taking my week off for Christmas, I thought a lot about these 3 Facebook Lives that I do every week. And now Wednesday, we always have the card challenge, and Friday, we always have the fun fold. But Mondays, I've not ever really established it as an actual like theme type day. But I did think about, these videos, why you would want to watch them. I want them to be for your, to help you, for your, I'm not sure what the word I'm trying to say, but basically, to help you with your card making, and not just for the fun of me making cards, which, I love making cards. But anyways, oh goodness, I've got all these people popping up. I love it. Oh, I hope everyone's ready to get back into card making. So Mondays, I am going to start pulling in some card making techniques. And today's technique is how to get your card layers to line up. So a lot of people will go, how do you get your layers to be so perfectly straight? There are tips and tricks to having that actual happen. And I want to share those with you today, while I also make a Valentine's Day card using our brand new Valentine's Day product out of the new catalog. Now, lots of things going on. January the 4th, which is Tuesday, the new mini catalog for the spring will go live. You'll be able to order from it. I sent everyone a catalog that has placed an order through me, through Stampin Up, not just my card kits, but actually going to stampinup.com and using me as your demonstrator and placing an order. Anyone who has placed an order within the year, so since last January 2021, if you'd placed an order, I sent you a catalog. If you did not get a catalog, you either didn't place an order with me, or for some reason I somehow missed you, but I hope that that's not the case. Reach out to me. Just reach out to me if you have not gotten a catalog yet. Next thing is, every time a new catalog comes, I do a paper share. I'm so excited. The paper is gorgeous. And there, I sent out an email about the paper share. If you did not get this email, you are either not on my email list, which I encourage you to do so. Go to creatingwithkristina.com and sign up for the newsletter right there. But also you can go to my blog, creatingwithkristina.com, and up in the corner, it says paper share, and just click on that little image and it will take you to the paper share. And paper shares are great because even hobby demonstrators, they want all the paper, but they don't want all the paper. It's because a pack of paper is a lot of paper. And if you're just making cards for yourself, you may not get through all that paper, but you want all the different packs. So a paper share, I order all the packs and I cut them in half and I cut them in quarters. And depending on which you want, if you want half packs or you want quarter packs, you choose, and then I send you that paper. Anyways, it's all explained on the blog. But today, Monday, I am coming in. I am going to be sharing. Let's go ahead and switch over my camera. Make sure I have everything here. Yep, there we go. Switching over the camera, and I want to show you this paper that I'm using today. And this is the paper called Sweet Talk, and this is our Valentine's Day paper for this year. And I love it because it's got traditional red on one side, and then it's got non-traditional pastels on the other. And that is just so fun. And all of our designer paper is really awesome. That one side is just a plain graphic that can be used all year round for anything. And then the other side is usually a graphic that goes with the stamp set or with the theme of the paper. And in this case, it's the Valentine Sweet Talk. So, love this paper. So I'm going to be using this today. Now, I'm not using the Sweet Talk stamp set. I'm going to be using this Valentine set called Love and Happiness. And this has a lot of, it's got the Valentine's, but it's got wedding anniversary greetings on it, which is a little more economical. In other words, you always There's always a chance that you need, there's also for To the Cutest Couple Ever, so engagements, weddings, anniversaries, those go on all year long. So this is a stamp set you could use all year long. Where if it had just said Happy Thanksgiving, okay, yeah. If it had just said Happy Valentine's, yeah, you wouldn't have been able to use it all year long as much. All right, and then here are the dies that go with it. I love it. Stitched hearts, cute little flowers, and a couple of labels. So neat set. Oh, and I almost forgot, the set comes with a hybrid embossing folder. So this embosses the paper, but then you can cut out this heart with the heart-shaped die, and it comes with the die set. It's a bundle. So cool. Oh my gosh, I've talked way too long, 5 minutes into it, and I haven't even started the card yet. Okay, here we go. Whew. Oh, I also haven't told you who I am. So for those of you who are just finding me, my name's Kristina Reese, and this is Creating with Kristina. I come live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on my Facebook page. Whoops, trying to get that. There it is, Facebook page, and my Facebook is facebook.com/Creating with Kristina. I come live to share card tutorials with you. And like I said, on Mondays, I'm going to be doing card techniques. And I want you all to look at this card layer right here, okay? Oh, and let me get this off of here too so you can see it really well. Do you see how the top of the mercury paper is not as wide as the bottom? Okay. That is a problem a lot of people have. It's like, I measured everything, I put it on there, and somehow it's still not even. All right, well, I'm going to show you why it's probably not even and how to solve that problem. Okay, that is what today's lesson's about. So the very first thing, number one thing, is you have got to make sure your pieces are perfectly square. So you need some grid paper, and I love this grid paper. This is not available to customers. This came from our onstage conference. So demonstrators who went to the onstage conference and ordered the goodie bag got this really cool paper. Anyway, so here's my base. My base is traditional 5.5 by 8.5. Now I want you all to look at this. Well, this grid paper is not going to help me very much, but that's okay. I'm going to put it way over here. Of course, in my picture's in the way, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it up along this corner. I'm making sure it's straight here and here. Then once I've got it straight there, then I come over here and I look. Now, like I said, this is centimeters over here, so it's not exact. I should probably use grid paper that's all the way across. But anyways, you can see that that is that's the same width all the way down there. And then here it lines up. It's lined up here, here, here. So it's lined up on all sides. I know that this is square. I don't like that you can't see that whole thing. So hold on. I'm going to pull up this grid paper real quick. Put that up there. Come here, grid paper. Okay. And now I've got now you can see that this is going to be perfectly square because I double checked and I made sure 3 times. So you can see it is along that line, that line, that line, and that line. If any reason, like let's say it looked like that and it was just a wee bit off from there, then your card's just not going to line up. It's just not going to, okay? So that's your first thing. Make sure your base is perfectly square. Then your other pieces. So I have a piece that is cut at, let me pull this back down so I can see my notes. This piece is cut at 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, all right? And I put it here in the grid and I make sure that it is perfectly square. All right, I know that one's square, good. My next piece is my mercury paper. I love this stuff. This is in the annual catalog and it comes in Highland Heather and Rococo Rose. And even though we don't have Rococo Rose anymore as a color in our color schemes, Rococo Rose goes well with the Petal Pink and the Blushing Bride. So this is the Rococo Rose piece here, and I'm just putting that in there and I'm making sure it's all perfectly square. All right, and it is, and this one is cut at 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, okay? All right, now that I know all my pieces are square, now I can put it together. All right, I've got a really cool trick for you. All right, here we go. Debbie said, wait a minute, what happened to New Year's? Yeah, New Year's is in a week. Nope, I'm doing Valentine's. All right, check out this thing that I've got here. This is called a Stamparatus. If you've not seen the Stamparatus, then this is what it looks like. It is a stamp positioning tool. It has a grid permanently in underneath the acrylic here. Then it has a foam mat. I don't see my foam mat. There it is. It has a foam mat that goes in, so when you're using the see-through stamps, you've got a foam mat. But when you put the foam mat in, you don't have the grid anymore. So we have this paper you can purchase, or just get your own paper, grid paper, that goes in here, and now you've got your grid back with your foam. But I'm not messing with that because I'm not stamping. What I'm going to use this for, you can see here where I've taken my ruler and my pen, and I have marked off 1/8 of an inch all the way down, okay? So here's 1/8, here's 1/4, 3/8, half, okay? I did that because, now I'm going to put that up in the corner. What I'm going to do, I want this mercury paper to go on my card base right here. And I want it to be 3/8 all the way around, okay? Well, if I want it 3/8 all the way around, then I need to place, okay, and I want to put an adhesive on the back here, and I'm going to place it at the 3/8 mark that I made on this grid paper here. All right, now, you know, I did this earlier today, and I really worked hard to make sure it worked. All right, now I'm going to use my magnet so it doesn't move, okay? I also need to put some adhesive on there. I almost forgot that. Hold on, let's put some adhesive on here. Don't need much. All right, making sure I'm still all lined up. Yes, I am. All right, now here's the trick. You ready? You ready? You stick this in the corner and you press down. Whoops, look at that. I didn't get it all the way over. Yikes. Oh, yeah, and another thing is you want very forgiving tape. Don't press down really, really hard until you absolutely know that's where it's supposed to go. Okay, let's get everybody lined up again one more time. Here we go. All right, make sure you are in the corner. Okay. There we go. All right, now let's pull the magnet off and pull it up. Look, it's perfect. I love it. Okay, and we still need to score this, but we'll wait just a sec. All right, let me pull this off. Now, I put that on there, and now I want to put this on here, but I want this one at 1/8, okay? And now this one should, if I line it up, should fall in there also. So let's do that. Put that there. We're going to put this one here. And like I said, this only works if you are perfectly square. If you are not square, it's just not going to work. Even if you're off by a 32nd of an inch. Is that even a word? All right, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Cross your fingers. I love teaching tricks, but then when I do it live, inevitably something happens and it goes wrong. I'm so worried. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, no, it's perfect. I love it. Okay, so that is the #1 way. Let me put my thing up there. Make sure your paper's perfectly square, but then use the Stamparatus and mark your grid paper. So like I said, all I did, I took a ruler. Now this ruler has a grid on it, a grid ruler. And all I did was I went over here and I lined it up on the 1/8 of an inch and I marked it. Okay, and then I came in at a 1/4 of an inch. There it is, 1/4 of an inch, and I marked it, and I went on like that. These are found in quilting stores, so craft stores like Joann's Fabrics, even Michael, even Walmart carries some of these kind of things, but it has a grid on it. These are very helpful. Now mine's kind of big because I'm a quilter. They come in smaller sizes. Great ruler to have. And if I can think about it, I'll put a link to my Amazon account. If you want to purchase one of those, you can just go to my must-have tools and it'll be there. All right, so that was my first tip using the Stamparatus. Let's put this away, and I'm gonna show you my next tip. All right, my next tip. Okay, my next tip is for my designer paper. Now, I want my designer paper to go on like this, and I want them to be, oh, excuse me, lined up as perfect as I can. Now, the thing is that, oh, and these are cut at 1 inch by 3 inch, okay? And I want those to go in like that. Now, I want them to be as evenly spaced as I can. So I'm getting just a regular ruler, and you can use that grid ruler or you can use this ruler. And I know that this is, this Highland Heather cardstock right here was cut at 4.5 right there. Okay, and halfway of 4.5 is 2 1/4. So, whoops, sorry about that. My notes fell. Okay, and I've got my little pencil here. Whoops. Now you may want to do this before you stick everything down, but I didn't. Okay, so there is my 2 1/4 right there. Okay, so I know that is halfway. Okay, and so I know these two pieces are gonna have the halfway in between them. All right, and then I've got these two pieces here, and I want them spaced as much as possible. One way to do that is to always start with your top and your bottom first. All right, I've got everybody marked. Need my adhesive. Here we go. I'm going to start with my bottom piece, and I'm just going to put a little bit. Okay, and there we go. Okay, now don't press down too hard. You may want to move it. Now let's come up here to the top piece. Okay, put a little bit and a little bit. And whoops. See, I've already gotten it stuck. Hold on. Yeah, like I said, don't let it stick down too hard first. All right, so there, that looks good. Now these two pieces need to come in, but you've got to remember there's your center right there, so you don't want to go above your center. Okay, but you don't want to leave a big gap either. All right, so this is my second tip. Let me put that up there. I keep forgetting my little thing. So we're using grid paper and a ruler. All right, so grid paper and a ruler. If I had not stuck it on here, I could have used the grid paper to keep this lined up, but I forgot and already taped it down. But that's okay. And my last tip is to use forgiving glue, adhesive that doesn't stick permanently really quick. Liquid glue is great because you get a little wiggle room. This tape runner, Stampin' Seal, is fine as long as you don't press down right away. You can still pick it up. Okay, and then I'm using my tweezers, and there we go. All right. Okay, so we have them all lined up, and I noticed right here I have the purple. I want to flip that over. I don't like how those two pieces are too matchy. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have our pieces now. Now I can press everybody down, and that little tick mark there, take my little eraser. There we go. And just erase that. All right, we're good, we're good. Let's go ahead and put the score line in here. Here's another thing when you're putting your score line in. Whoops, it's upside down. Don't rely, let me take that thing off of the top of my screen. Where am I? Do not rely on the back edge of your ruler back here. Sometimes that's not perfectly square. And sometimes over the years, I don't know, it just changes. Use these lines here instead. So I can line it up here and here. And I know I need it at 4 1/4, so I actually need to go over. Okay, there's my 4 1/4. I have it all lined up. perfectly square in there. And now, whoops, I pressed down and it wiggled. Okay. All right, now I put down my tool and I have a nice score line, and everybody's still lined up perfectly, okay? So when you're using your cutting tool, okay, you're cutting and you're trying to get perfectly square pieces, use these grid lines out here. Don't depend on this up here. This is where a lot of people get bad cuts, is because they're trying to use this piece as the straight edge. It should be straight, but sometimes it's just not. When the manufacturer puts the thing together, sometimes the pieces just aren't as perfect as they should be. All right, there we go. Let's finish up this card. Are you ready? Oh, Debbie says, I want a Stamparatus so bad. Debbie, it will be one of your best investments. The Stamparatus can do so many things besides just position your stamps. There's just so many things you can do with it. Great investment. All right. Oh, and because Celebration's coming up, Debbie, you can buy the Stamparatus and it's $49. You'd still need one more dollar. So get some dimensionals and you'll get a free product in the Celebration brochure. So this would be a good time to get your Stamparatus. All right. All right. Like I said, let me finish this up real quick. So I love this Mercury paper. I cut the heart out and I stamped Valentine greetings here. Okay. And then I cut out the designer paper and I got some of the pretty red ribbon that goes with this suite. And I love this red ribbon. It's real thin and soft, and it just, it's going to be great for tying bows. I'm not tying a bow. I'm just doing a little flip of the ribbon here like that. All right, so let's put this on here. Let's see, how do I want to do this? We're going to put that there, but I need some dimension. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's put this on here like this. Okay, and then we need our, I'm not sure how I want to do this either. Woo! I'm kind of winging it here. Well, I don't want my ribbon to get in the way of my greeting for sure. Okay, what about that? Does that look good? Maybe I should have the ribbon under the greeting. There we go. How's that look? Oh, look at me. I should have decided all this earlier. I apologize, you guys. Yeah, I definitely want this to go under the greeting because you can't read the greeting if you have. It's another thing I like about the Mercury paper. The tape comes right back up. Okay, so let's put this there. So I just need a little bit. I probably should use glue dots, but it's all right. There we go. Okay. Love it, love it. All right, let's put some dimensionals back here. 2 and 3. How we doing? Oh, I'm glad I could solve the, so Cornelia said, I also had the problem with my score lines not straight. What a good tip. Well, thank you, Cornelius, and I'm glad that I helped you there. Excellent. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to put this on. Just, actually, I want Valentine greetings straight, so there we go. And then we'll put the, okay. Wasn't paying attention enough again. All right, let's take that up, take that up. We're gonna have to come up further so that our purple heart doesn't get in the way of the greeting. All right, there we go. Okay. Yeah. That'll work. Okay. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to need some glue dots here because I'm having troubles getting everybody to stay stuck once I lifted it up. All right, so just stick glue dots in here. It holds ribbon down really great. There we go. And another glue dot here because my greeting is wanting to pop up. There we go. All right, so now we have all that on there and we just need this guy. Okay, so, I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial today. Oh, let me bring this one down. The last one was use grid paper, use liquid glue or other adhesive that doesn't stick too quickly. Okay, those are my tips. So let me go over my tips one more time. Here we go. Here's my card. And the first tip was to make sure all your pieces are perfectly square. Use some grid paper and double check and make sure everything's square. Your next tip was use the Stamparatus and marked grid paper. And so here is what I was talking about there. Here's my Stamparatus, and here's this marked grid paper here. So this is a great way to make sure your layers stay lined up. And then the next tip that I gave you was to use grid paper and a ruler. All right, so on these 4 pieces here, we use the ruler here. And if I had not stuck this down, I could have used the grid paper to help me line it up also, but I was a little ahead of myself there. The last one is use a liquid glue that doesn't set immediately, or in this case, I used the Stampin' Seal and I just did not press it down immediately. I waited until I knew exactly where I wanted it, and then I pressed it down. Okay, so those were my tips for making sure that everything lined up perfectly for you. And I hope that you got a lot of help out of this. Do not forget, I have on my blog, there are 2 things going on. There's a paper share going on right now. And then also, if you've not signed up for my newsletter, that's going on right now. The new catalog does not come out until January 4th. So not worrying about that right now. Just paper share and newsletter. Okay, you guys, I'm going to be back Wednesday for our card challenge. We've had a card challenge going on for 2 weeks now because I took Christmas break off. It was Christmas trees. And so if you want to put in a entry, there we go, an entry for that, you still can. A Christmas tree. The post is pinned to the top of my Facebook page. And for those of you who don't know my Facebook page, it is facebook.com creating with Kristina. All right. You guys have a blessed Monday. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for showing up. And I will see you later on Wednesday. Okay. Bye-bye.